Alright, so today's video, we are watching a Silver 3 tank on console, and they're playing Junker Queen and Sigma on Circuit Royale, which I do like Sigma here. Queen, interesting pick on this map, but it rank dependent can be rank dependent, but I do like Sigma on this map. So they say this match made me turn off my console, in all honesty. Tank has just been miserable to play, and so I've barely touched it in months. Got Circuit Royale, and yeah, Sigma map, but I really wanted to play Junker Queen, and I just got the Jade weapon for her, so I did. After first point, things got rough, so I went Sigma, which makes sense. Second point can be tough anyway, so Sigma helps there. On attack, they eventually settled on Mauga and Bastion. Oh, you had a great time. And I was having a rough time. I misjudged the damage coming in, and that delayed me using my grasp, so I died very quickly. What I want to know the most is what do they do, what to do when they have Mauga Bastion. I feel I've been seeing that combo a lot recently. I can deal with them individually, but together, do I just roll over? Let's find out. I will say, Queen on first point can be tough, but you can make it work for sure. I do like the Jade weapon here. It looks cool in the skin. This is actually with the mythic, right? Be careful of, by the way, remember, just a little side note for anybody who didn't see the patch notes or doesn't understand how it works yet. Right there, you notice how you use your shout after? You can actually use your shout in at the same time. So you could use your Carnage, which is the axe cooldown, and you can hit your shout at the same time. In those situations, it's actually a little bit better for you to use your shout if you're gonna play that far out while you're swinging your axe. You can do both at the same time. They just recently fixed that or changed that to where you can do that. So you can like use your shout at the same time as any of your other abilities. Which you can use it for some fun plays, like you can start to lead in with your axe and then use your shout at the same time, and you can get some really cool like plays that can be done there. So. All right. Now, one thing I want to point out you're doing a little bit wrong is you're not really hugging corners as much as you should. So, like, you see how you're in the middle of the open right there? Like, that's on you. Look at your positioning. You're kind of gravitating towards the middle of the map, right? And when you kind of gravitate towards the middle of the map, like this, you're just out of position. So, like, as Queen, you want to play a lot around corners. This is just, it's because of, like, how much damage they can do to you and how much damage tanks take in general now. That's why that happened. Positioning becomes so key now. You know what's crazy is like, it feels like bad positioning is getting punished even more so now. Like, in every rank. In comparison to before, I've been watching a lot more of these like tank VODs, and it feels like before you could do stuff. Now it feels like they made it so it's even more difficult for tanks to get like value in pretty much any rank on that side of things. So it's interesting. Not like terrible, but definitely not easy. The Queen versus Diva, I don't mind Queen versus Diva here. That's a matchup I take any day of the week. Good job by your Sojourn to get the picks there. All right, keep it going. Nice. I mean, good first point. Now, you said you struggled on second. If you keep gravitating towards the middle of the road here, like that you're playing, it's going to go tough. Try not to use your Carnage like that. You at least want to hit one target with Carnage. And this is just... For anybody learning Queen, whenever your Carnage hits somebody, it takes 2 seconds off of the cooldown. So a lot of the time, you don't want to do like those wasted Carnages because you can kind of like also like at least hitting one person gives you like a much quicker uptime. And yes, if you're wondering as I'm saying that, if you hit 4 targets, will it give you a free cooldown? Yes. So say there's 4 in front of you and you hit them with your Carnage, you can hit a Carnage right after. No downtime. See right there how it's now a 6-second cooldown because they hit the Diva with that? You see that? That's why that can be, like, really good there. You can ult this if you want to. Oh, no. I was gonna say, you're by yourself. Yeah, there's tank for you. Queen is one of my favorite heroes to play that I also can't play because in top 500 right now, it's a lot of just, like, Roadhog. Or, like, Rhine. And you're like, well, wouldn't Queen be okay against Rhine? You think that until every game has a Sojourn Tracer in it. Or an Echo, and you're just spending the whole time taking a bunch of damage anyway. They're gonna cleanse that, probably. There's the cleanse. They did cleanse one person, though. That's nice. Escape. Thanks for the 4 months of the Fish Friends. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, as Queen, you're gonna keep struggling here. I mean, you gotta look at the comp they're playing. they're playing pretty far back. They have a Zenyatta and like a Kiriko. You're going to be taking maximum poke damage. I know they reduced a little bit of like how much damage you're going to take, but you're going to take so much damage and have to use so many cooldowns to get there that by the time you get to them, you can't do anything anyway. You see what's happening? And it's actually a really good job by the other team to kind of poke you out early, because like you have to use all these cooldowns. You're going back to spawn, yeah. I mean, that is just you're not doing anything there. Whenever you watch my streams, it makes you want to play tank. I hope that's a good thing. I can see that now. Oh, I just watched this stream. I'm excited to go play some tank. Dude, why did he make me play tank? I am so mad right now. I'm hoping it's not that result. Yep, Brock. Be careful here. Play positioning. Play positioning. Play positioning. Like, I want you to look at your HP. You're not even giving your supports opportunity to be able to heal you up. And a lot of tanks do this right now, where you constantly think that you're going to be able to take a bunch of damage, but unfortunately right now in current Overwatch, that's not the case. You just can't do that, right? So you need to find ways to eventually hide behind walls, and I'm telling you, your support players are going to love it, or they're going to complain at you and tell you need to be aggressive, and then you'll get aggressive, and they'll get mad at you for being aggressive because they can't keep you up, even though you know that you need to hide behind a wall. But it's better to hide behind that wall and get your HP back up than it is to sit here at 194 HP, especially with the support line that you have. It's going to make it much easier if you don't sit there and take as much poke damage as you are. One thing I'm trying to do more of now is try to help like players in every rank, because this actually helped me recently.
Hello, Internet.
Reduce poke damage. So poke damage, best way to describe it. See all this random damage you're getting right now, like across the map? I call this kind of poke damage, right? You're not getting brawled on. They're not using ultimates on you. They're just poking you out, right? It's all pre-fight stuff that's happening. And if you keep taking damage, you know, does this not perfectly describe tank right now? I just realized this. I zoom in here, and this kind of just describes tanking. People are like, hey, how does tank feel right now? Well, it's because Sigma's been taking too much poke damage, okay, chat? So point being, you don't want to take, like, all the poke damage, like, that you're doing here, and you want to hide. Now, let's say you hide here, and you take 50% less damage now. You're still going to have some people can hit you with, like, their shots. At least your supports have an easier time to heal you. But if you keep peeking like this over and over again, you're going to make it difficult on your supports. Now, you can do this. One thing you can change in anywhere from bronze to top 500 is the reduction of how much poke damage you take. Now, there's a bit of a problem right now that I hear that a lot of players expect your tanks to still go in and be like that brute force tank where you get in their face and you're leading the way. Not as much as it used to be. So if your expectation as a support is that your tank should just keep running in a straight line at them, your tank is gonna fall over. Your tank will fall over very quickly. Just be careful of taking that much damage. Like, you're getting healed up now because the passive fell off you, but I want you to like just try to reduce how much you're taking that damage. Easier said than done, though. Like, I try to have good position sometimes in the top 100 games, and I just have an Echo Sojourn, and I just sit there the whole time going, yep. Nice job. Great aggression here. Good job. Nice. I like that. Ooh, look at that. Nice play there. Good job. You had someone telling you walk forward? Well, the thing is you'll walk forward when they say that, and then, like, you want to trust that they can keep you healed, then you fall over and they ask what you're doing. Like, they'll act like it's somehow, like, on... Like, they'll tell you, like, go in there. No, I can heal you. I can heal you. You go in, and then you get rolled, and they're like, dude, what are you doing? And you're like, you told me to be aggressive. They're like, yeah, but not that way. It's like, what way do you want me to be aggressive? And I don't... Also, good job keeping map control there and getting the point.
Olympus is where I say it is.
Yep. You got told you weren't playing aggressive last time while playing Baby Diva? Yeah, you gotta play more aggressive. Alright, yeah, Queen's okay here. I think you'll get stuck on third point at the end. I could be wrong. Also, this just goes back to what we were saying. Like, as Queen is a fun hero to play, a lot more difficult to play, especially on a map like this in the comp they're playing. They're playing really far back. Like, you're not gonna have... What the heck is going on here? Oh, Ash is just going, yep. Alright. Oregas is silver. Oh, well. It seems like you pulled them and they got lost to where they went, but it worked out, so we take those. I mean, honestly, I do like your pathing right here. So pathing's like where you go on the map, like as you move forward. I like that you're taking away that right side right there. Like, I like that you're taking away the right side right there. And making sure they don't have anybody in that high ground. How did that not hit the diva? That should have hit the diva, am I wrong? This is where I think it will be more difficult for you, but maybe you end up your team ends up rolling here. Yeah, positioning. Taking too much damage again. Taking too much damage. Thankfully, the DPS isn't shooting you at times. Truthfully, if the DPS kept shooting you, you'd fall over there. And that's because they would just keep the passive on you, and that ult wouldn't even be able to keep you up. Honestly, this is a good ult timing, actually. If you want to queen ult this, I actually think you have a timing. You can just ult to the right and get the Zen. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. That was a. I would ult that sooner. That was a good ult, but I would ult that sooner. I would definitely ult that sooner, in my opinion. But that was a good play. Either way. I mean, you finished with no time on the clock, but that doesn't really matter as much right now. Like in this situation. Like, it doesn't matter as much right now in this situation because, like, you know, they can finish with 5 minutes, but you still have time. Like, you'll still be able to cap. Basically, it doesn't matter if you get it with no time or 5 minutes. Okay, now you're on Sigma on first point defense, which I think is an excellent choice for you. I think this is definitely the way to go.
Stop the payload.
An unwanted variable moves the payload. Actuating the barrier.
All right, playing close. They don't have a tank playing yet, so that's good. Can you kill that Junkrat trap in front of you? I only say that because I would walk into that accidentally, and now that I see it, that's probably what chat sees every time I walk into a Junkrat trap. Like, I don't see the Junkrat trap because I'm not really, like, my vision isn't there. But from a spectator point of view, I see the Junkrat trap. There it is. Yep. And I'm like, wow. Can you kill that Junkrat trap? But, like, that's also me when I'm playing. People probably seeing that going, can you kill that Junkrat trap? But I don't see it because I'm not looking there. But now I see it, and I'm just like, get that. So far, so good. I don't mind you playing too close here. Because, like, they're not really pressuring you. They don't have a comp that can really grind your teammates down from a different angle. So, like, you're in a good spot playing here. Junkrat trap. There it is. I see it. I see it right there. I see it. I see it. There it is. Good find. I mean, so far this is fine. It's funny because, like, in top 500, you probably don't play as close on this one, but, like, that's what I always say with each rank, it's going to play different, right? That's one thing I try to, like, talk about in these games, that I understand that each rank will hold in different spots, play closer, etc. I honestly, if you're playing that comp, I probably would hold close here, too, even in top 500. Because, like, they just don't have the same pressure. They're going top right, but, like, you don't have to worry about that right now. Like, they don't have the team comp to get the value from up there, and they keep stacking.
Barrier initialized.
Yeah, that's on you if they get you. A little bit too overzealous on not looking at your angle. Yeah, Brock, I'd start backing up now. I would actually start backing up now. Okay, and I'll explain this in a second. So, everything was good up until this moment. There's a certain point as a tank that you need to back up and understand, like, how the map plays. So, like, as you're here, you want to start backing up this way and take the corner. That's why, like, a lot of time you'll see in games, players give up this space to control this part of the map. So, like, at that point, yeah, you lost one, and, like, the arguments, well, I died on cart. You were fine. They weren't going to be able to grind you down. The only way they grind you down is if you stand here. So, ideally, you back up like this, and you keep using your damage to pressure back, and you zone out the area. Yeah, exactly. You're not playing Reinhardt, so you don't need to stand there on the cart. So, after they take that map control, you want to back up. And that will lead to better results for you, and you won't, like, get sent back to spawn. Next thing you know, you have 60% ult charge because you were able to disengage properly and do damage while doing that. It's one of the strengths of Sigma. Wow, that Winston had no fun. No wonder that Winston swaps to Mauga at some point, because they just got solo EMP'd and fell over in half of a second. What do you do when your teammates start yelling at you for backing up because you're trying to position to a better choke? You just say, understandable, have a nice day, because at that point, it's just a difference in philosophy on your team. I will say, if you're prioritizing good positioning over just sitting there and face tanking, you're probably going to end up with good results. And I think, and maybe I see it differently, but I think some players will have different expectations of what, like, a tank should do, even if they don't even play tank. Like, they just hear tank and assume that, like, tank should just be you just run into their team, you take all the damage, and that's that. But, like, a lot of the really good tanks can do a balance of both. You can take map control, but you also know when to get out. And I think that in some ranks, I mean, heck, every rank, players have this expectation that tanks just stand there, take a bunch of damage, and should be fine. But in current Overwatch, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. You just can't do that. So, you don't want to sit back and do nothing, but you also need to know when to back up, and I think that's when you start to really make progress on tank, is when you start to understand the angles like that you can back up to, how you're going to play it, especially on Sigma. It's very important. Yep, Rock. It's very important on Sigma to understand that, because your whole play style is zoning out an area with your damage, not standing there, right? You control an area by doing damage in front of you, and you don't have to play too aggro, and then you back up as they get closer to make it harder for them to get value. So like right now, like you would start to back up now because the Ramachi's in Nemesis form. You back up, you spam up the damage on them, you shield behind them so they can't get healed if anybody has that ability, and then you get them. Which actually, you played that perfectly. Like, see that right there? See what I'm talking about? How, like, you don't want to sit there and face tank that, but a lot of players do have the expectation that you should just face tank that Ramatra, and if you don't, you're just feeding or you're not playing tank correctly. But the reality is, the way you played that was perfect. You back up, you do the damage to them as they try to take the space, and then you use your damage to prevent them from doing that. That was a good way to play Sigma. I will say you probably could have like backed up 2 seconds sooner, but like that is just a time thing that will come with time. But that was the correct play, and I like that you did that. Now they have the Bastion. And now they have the Mauga. Which, by the way, like, I think Sigma's actually okay against this comp. I want to see what your reaction is to this, because you said that you have an issue against that comp, but like it's not the worst. It's not saying it's my favorite. Like yeah, you said okay. You did. I obviously I can tell you to use your eat there, but you did mention also in like your preview that you didn't use your eat there. So I'll give you that one. Like you even said like you knew that wasn't the play, so you recognize that is what I'm saying. I don't mind Sigma against Mauga. I will say Mauga can still win though, because Mauga brings something that a lot of tanks don't, and that's utility for the other team. That isn't a shield. Okay, that's on you right there. Okay, this is where you said you struggle against that. That's your fault. Like you need to play range. What are you trying to do to get up this far? Like you want to go back here. You see? You want to back up here and take your time and like slowly take away the map control. Don't face tank them. Don't face tank them. That's on you. And that was another fight where you didn't use your eat. So that's back-to-back times where you missed out on the opportunity there. But you do not want to face tank a Mauga. Good ult. It's a good ult. I like that. That actually might get a few. Nice job. Stay on the point. Stay on the point. Stay on the point. I can already see where this is going. Okay, your Mercy just saved that point. Thank you. But yeah, so as I was saying, the one thing that I think, and some people don't even realize this, but like that cardiac overdrive when Mauga lights up also gives damage reduction and lifesteal to the teammates too. Anybody in range of that also has that. So sometimes like even if you're doing well against a Mauga, the moment they get that lifesteal combo, you just can't do anything, and it's up so frequently that like, that's why you need to play smart around those cooldowns. That's an EMP. I think the timing will be off, though. I was going to say. Ooh. Nice tire. I mean, it's not for your team, but it was a good tire. You know one thing that, like... And I'm not saying this is the full thing here, because, like... I'm gonna pause for a second, though. Doesn't it seem like sometimes as tank right now, like, you know how like they always talked about counter swaps in general, right? Like, it's been a discussion about counter swaps, which, you know, obviously can be an unfun experience. But one thing I'm starting to realize here, too, is like, against the Mauga, the one mistake you're making, by the way, is that you're playing too close. But, like, if your team also doesn't make any of, like, swaps for you after to help against the Mauga, it becomes a lot more difficult, doesn't it? It's almost like if your team, like, you can get counter swapped on, but if your team doesn't counter swap also to help against the Mauga, then, like, you're just gonna struggle to no matter what, unless you end up on Mauga. But then if they have Mauga Bastion and your team doesn't go like Mauga Bastion, then you're still gonna get rolled. So it's a very interesting scenario where it's like, I think what you need to do here is you need to just play further back and slow down your gameplay, because if your team isn't willing to make other swaps to like kind of help you against what they're doing to you, then you need to just play further back and just try to buy as much time as possible to poke out damage. And I think that's where you have to make those adjustments. Like if your team isn't willing to help make swaps or like make plays to help you against their other tank, you then have to just like adjust your play style, and you're just playing too damn close. You just can't play that close against them. It just isn't. You're not going to get any results there. So you just want to play as far back as you can, maybe at like this angle, and just spam them out. And if your teammates get mad at you, I want you to like look at your comp, and in comparison to what they're running right now, they can't expect you to do a ton at that point, like except like playback. And that's the one thing you want to do. So adjust your playstyle. You're not playing Mauga. You're not playing Reinhardt here. You're not trying to face tank people. You need to understand the hero you're on and play a little bit further back. So let's go. For the shield above your head, by the way. A little bit of a tip there. Hey, you're dead there. You can just ult it right away. Yeah. Even if they get you, I don't mind the ult. Honestly, chat, like, there's no reason for the music there either. One, they were gonna lose that, and two, like, that was gonna happen. They already had map control. You lost your cooldown time, and like there was gonna be no play there that would have worked as well as you would have liked, to say the least. It was a good ultimate, but yeah, it was just unlucky. You said a good Ana can shut down a Mauga. Yeah, but like the what I'm saying to that is what happens when like your team doesn't do that. And I've kind of noticed that a little bit. Like, for example, yesterday, I was kind of forced into Roadhog a lot, right? Like, I had to go Hog. There was no other, like, option at that point. It's happened a lot in top 100. And the other team was on Ana Kiriko, and, like, our team just was not going to go Ana Kiriko. So, like, at that point, I have to make these, like, really, like, wild adjustments that no matter what, the Hog will have another advantage because they have Ana Kiriko. Like, we have no other support line that would be able to, like, really compete against that, because I can hook somebody, they can get cleansed. We can nade their Hog, they can get cleansed. And if we don't have the same comp, then we can't use that, and then their cleanse is being saved for something else. I guess it's just, like, an interesting discussion in the sense that, like, and it's kind of a realization for me is I need to find ways to be able to win games now when you aren't getting the swaps from everybody else. Like, you can counter swap all day long on a tank, but, like, if you don't get the full swaps, I think you can just get... Here we go. Remember, play distance. You can't face tank them. Spam out the Ashe top left. 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 Okay, that Ashe would have died if you just concentrated on something else there besides shooting the Mauga. See the Ashe right there in front of you? See that Ashe? Shoot at the Ashe. Shoot at the Ashe. Alright, the Ashe killed your team. Hey, okay, nice. There you go, you got some limbs. The Ashe is still alive. Wonderful. Your shield. Drop your shield. Alright, you let your shield break. You don't want to do that. Okay, the Ashe finally died there. Alright. There you go. Now you're going to get a lot of damage. Nice. Wait this out. Use your E. Wonderful. The reason why you use your E during that is because that's when they have cardiac overdrive, so you can prevent some of their lifesteal and kind of fall behind a little bit. By the way, don't be afraid to block them the heal off from the Moira, so the Moira has to play closer. Ult this. Nice ult. Got the Elim, prevented the that's good ult. Yeah, nice job. There you go. All right. Keep going. Doop, doop, doop. Did Rock the supports too? I'll pause for a second. I'm actually okay with using the Rock to prevent the Mauga. Like, you're saying the Rock the supports, but, like, that's, like, easier said than done, right? Like, oh, just Rock the supports, but, like, that requires you, one, to be super accurate at, like, this really long range, and two, if you do want to get close to them to do that, that means you have to run into the Mauga, which you've been saying don't run into the Mauga. So I'm actually okay with, like, rocking the Mauga if it prevents some of, like, what the Mauga can do cooldown-wise. So I just say, like, don't rock, like, just rock the supports. Like, it's not that simple, especially with what they have to play against. Sometimes you use the Rock just to prevent the Mauga from having a little bit of that uptime, and sometimes that 1 to 2 second difference in uptime can be a make or break for, like, how you win that duel. Granted, it depends on what your team's running, etc., but yeah. Samuel Legendary, thank you for the Twitch press. Thank you, appreciate it. It rocked the Mercy res? Yeah, but, like, that's not, like, just rocking the Mercy res is a different statement than rock the supports. Does that make sense? So, like, you're saying, oh, yeah, when they go for the res, rock them. Yes, I can agree with that. But if you're saying, yeah, that Bob just lasted a long time. Nothing you can do about that. But if you're saying, actually, honestly, something you can do there, by the way, is go for a quick rock on Bob. That can help, too. But if you're saying just rock the supports, that's different than rock the Mercy res. So, anyway, sorry, just a little side note on that one. Problem you did there, by the way, is you left yourself susceptible to the right side. You left yourself susceptible to the right side, so what you can do is you can actually stay on the cart. It would have line of sighted half the Bob damage. You would have been right here, and you would have had a Junkrat to your right. Would have been a safer play. That's positioning, by the way. Granted, it's overtime, so it's a little bit more of heat of the moment and harder to, like, to kind of do what you want to do play-wise there, but you definitely had the opportunity to reposition yourself in a better spot. All right, here we go. Remember what we've talked about here. You still want to range the Mauga. If you play too close, you're going to get rolled, I'm telling you. And your supports will not be able to, if they okay. This is what I'm talking about. You got to stop face tanking. You mentioned, oh, I went up against Mauga Bastion. Oh, all this. They don't even have a Bastion now when you're getting rolled. You have to play range. You cannot face tank a Mauga. You will not win that duel most of the time unless the Mauga is, like, not using their cooldowns correctly. And then you're like, yeah, but I could have gotten healed there. You have 20% healing reduction on you with, you know, a comp that doesn't have as much burst heals, right? They have a lot of high healing, especially the Moira. The Mercy's, but Mercy's had a bit of an issue with the DPS passive in the game. Like, Moira has a lot of heals, but, like, that isn't, like, burst heals, right? So if you're going to sit there in the middle of the open and take the damage reduction, or take damage, healing reduction from a DPS, and you're going to fall over. So, like, that's on you at that point of your position. This is why I'm trying to, like, let you know, like, don't face tank them out. You're out of position again. Like, even if you get out of here, like, this is going to be... No, that's... like... Do you see what I'm saying? You're face tanking. You're not... Sigma is not a face tank hero. Sigma is use your range, use your damage, yeah, exactly, play cover, and gradually go across the map. You are literally standing in front of them, and they're just grinding you down. And the Mauga recognizes that. You're just a free pick at that point. And your support line... Actually, you do have burst heals. I'm sorry. I want to rephrase this. I was looking at the wrong support line. You do have burst heals from Ana because you can throw an Ana grenade and heal. That is my mistake on that one. I just recognized that now. I was looking at the wrong support line for the wrong team. Because Ana can Ana grenade you, but yeah, I mean it's the same concept, just a little bit less. Yeah, that's on me. I just saw that one. But yeah, I mean honestly, this whole first point is not fully on you, but a lot of it had to do with how you decided to tank that. You just face tanked. You went right in front of their face, and you face tanked them, and that just isn't how you want to do that. And yeah, that's that. I mean that's the game. So yeah, so. And that's the game right there. So we'll talk about it very quickly to kind of give a little bit of like feedback on this. But like your problem here is that you constantly just want to be in front of their Mauga and face tank them when that's not what you want to do. Remember, Sigma's about zoning out an area. You control an area with your damage. Think about this. The area where your damage goes is where a lot of Sigmas will position. So think about this. If you're trying to play that corner and you're playing there really close, well, what if you don't play there close, but your damage can reach that range? You're now still tanking that area with your zoning damage, and then you can back up a lot easier. That's why I always say your damage is your way that you tank as Sigma, and you zone them out in those areas. So you don't have to face tank the Mauga when you can slowly back up and eventually grind them down. But you're just giving them full opportunities. That's on you at that point. Outside of that, a little bit better cooldown management would be nice. I think hero selection, I mean, you did put a little bit of time on Queen. That, like on this map, but you said why. Like you knew that Queen wasn't the best pick, but you said you wanted to try the Emerald Weapon, so I'm not gonna, you gave me the reason, and so that one's up to you. Does he have to give up some space for that? Well, yeah, you're giving up space, but the damage is how you reduce, okay, if they're playing here, right? And like they're right here, and you play here as Sigma, the Mauga can grind you down, right? So your vision is, I need to zone out this area by standing here. But Sigma doesn't play that way. So you play here, and then your damage spam is how you're zoning out the area. So your space creation is the damage, and then as they start to push you, you fall back a little bit, right? So now as they push you, you keep zoning out the area with damage, and yes, exactly, you technically give up less space this way, and if they try to take that space from you, then you can spam them down, build ult charge, give your teammates time, and then eventually, say you don't get any limbs, you back up to here, but you're safe. Do you see this? So as you go back here, this is how you see Sigmas get ultimates all the time, is because you need to keep backing up that way. Problem is a lot of players have the expectation that you should just push in here and just stand there as a tank, and then they get mad when you die as a tank, but that's the problem, is tanking can't do that as much anymore right now, right? That's why so many players are defaulting to like Mauga Roadhog, because those heroes don't even need to worry about half the stuff because they have these survivability tools that other tanks don't have, and as Sigma, to get that value, you need to play further back. right? So like that is how you want to do it. So you don't like you don't want to face tank that. You're giving up space, but like you're not giving up the area. You're using your damage to create that space. You know what I'm saying? So work on some of that stuff, and I think you'll start to see improvement. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to all 3 YouTubes if you haven't. If you want to submit your own spectating, if you look in the description below, you'll see my Discord. That is where you do that. Leave a comment. All of that helps. We also record these live on stream. You can see the Twitch chat right below the webcam. Stop by if you haven't. We have a lot of fun here. With that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day/night.